Hi, friend. Have you noticed that it is hard to love the person in the mirror? And this is simply because we have been taught to love our neighbors, but we haven't been taught how to love ourselves. So, today we are going to be sharing about learning to fall in love with yourself. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have liked, subscribed, and you are sharing this channel with all your circles because I love having you here. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for all the conversations that you continue in the comment section. So back to today's main topic, learning to fall in love with yourself. I know someone is seated wondering, fall in love with me? We only resonate it with other people. When we hear the word love, we quickly run to other people and we eliminate ourselves from the picture. And I think this is exactly where the struggle begins. Yeah? But it has to start with you. You cannot pour from an empty cup, friend. So for you to be able to love others, you have to already be in love with yourself. And let me emphasize this. I am not talking about vanity or ego. I am just talking about that place where you finally discover yourself, where you have deep compassion for yourself, where you accept yourself, where you see yourself for who you are. You cannot, this is the perfect one, where you become the star in your world. Yes, it is possible. And this can be done by discovering the uniqueness in you. See, friend, each and every one of us has something unique about them. We might be similar in so many ways, but there is something that is unique about you. Trees, they are all called trees, right? But there are different kinds of trees. There is a eucalyptus tree, there is a mango tree, there is a guava tree, but they are all trees, right? So yeah, we are all humans, but there is something unique that is in each and every one of us. And that uniqueness is what is going to lead you to that place of confidence. And when I say confidence, I'm not just talking about where you rise up and stand up to something. No, I'm talking about that faith, that deep faith that you can have about yourself. One of the best examples I can give is probably influencers. And for lack of a better example, I'm going to speak about the Kardashians. Those people have owned their reality, which is image, business, and lifestyle. So at that point, they have owned it to the point that a whole industry has been made about them. So owning your reality, when you discover your uniqueness, then you see the confidence in you, then you own your reality. You see how these things begin to gel with one another. And because they are doing that, then at that point, you find your purpose. This is the thing. Everyone keeps saying, how do I find my purpose? But usually, if you're asking yourself that question, it is because you're looking outside and not within. Your purpose is already within you. Just take a look at that thing that makes you restless. You're uncomfortable every time you hear it. We only relate that, we have friends who really like neat places. So every time they're making it neat, they're clearing it, and we call it OCD. But now there's that thing that makes you restless. What is that thing? I have a friend. He always thought that he did not have purpose, yeah? He was feeling down, he was feeling lost. But I think it was because he was looking at the other people and seeing what other people were doing and wanting to do what other people were doing. But he was so good at children. Like every time he was around children, they were so comfortable, they were happy, he was playing with them. He could figure out what ticks this child. He could figure out what makes this child excited. Even if he left several children around him, they would always be happy. Children were always asking to go back and hang with him. And then finally it clicked to him that he could now start making lessons for them, writing books for them, making toys. And he has just, when he started that, he has never looked back. That is purpose. He didn't have to look outside. He looked within. So another way is owning your story. We have lived a life where the past pages of our lives have been written for us, but now it is time for us to take back that pen and be the author of your book. Yeah. I used to have a boss, mentor. I think she does a bit of both. Hi Solea, shout out to you. And every time I would call her while we're at work, she'd be like, Emma, what's your story? And I'd be like, why? She's like, no, because everyone has a story in regards to what we were doing. So like, because I had to report to her about everything I was doing. So I think she's like, okay, what story does Emma have for me today? And because of that, I believe that each and every one of us has a story, and you can be the author of your story. Let us leave this place of the victim mentality. Friend, I know most of us have gone through traumas that we cannot even express verbally. Some of us are even still overcoming them. Some of us some of them had been blocked out of our minds. So these traumas are just coming back as we grow up. So I recognize that. And I'm not telling you to ignore your pain. I am just telling you to take back the power and take control. Yes, so because if we remain at this place of victim mentality, then we are continually going to have fear in our lives. And fear can bring so many limitations, and yet we can use fear to advantage. For me, fear is proceed with caution. That's how I look at it. Proceed, but with caution. And that is how I go. Because then when I see a challenge, instead of being afraid, I'm like, I can proceed with caution. And we can make challenges opportunities. Yeah. Because this is a chance for you to see a new direction, look at something with a different perspective when there is a challenge, maybe to pause and observe from a different angle. Instead of just seeing challenges as limitations, let us take them on as opportunities. My friend, when a challenge comes, cry while moving to the next opportunity. Anyway, that's what I do. I can be crying, but while moving to the next opportunity. And that is how I have shown love to myself. And you can also say, choose action rather than perfection. Yeah. We always have this thing of, I'm waiting for the perfect time. I'm waiting for the perfect time to marry. I'm waiting for the perfect time to start a business. I'm waiting for when inflation stops for me to start business. Friend, I have news for you. These things are just going to keep coming. Life keeps bringing lemons our way, but they have said we can make lemonade out of it. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, how come you consider the 5-minute rule? Yeah. Where I have a friend who really wanted to start a business, but she kept being afraid to take the first step because she kept looking at the businesses that were bigger. She wanted to start an online store, and she was just not getting it started. She'd talk about it and just never do it. But her mentor then told her, let's take this exercise, yeah? Every day, take 5 minutes off and do something in regard to this dream of yours. So she started by searching out names for 5 minutes a day. Then when she got the name, she went to searching out a domain. When she got that, she went to searching out how she can register. When she got that, she went to searching out people who are already doing it. So every day she was doing something in that direction. And slowly by slowly, her joy in it came back. The grit in it came back. So instead of being fearful, she was seeing now that she can do it. And then we have to also embrace the big picture mentality. We can't just be myopic. There is a bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture. And in that 5-minute rule, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. Actually, right now I'm just remembering, as a child, I really, really did not like reading. And my father would insist that I must read something every day, and it bothered me until he just made it possible for me that read 1 page at a time. When I did 1 page, he told me, now we are going to start, you will read 1 hour every day. And before I knew it, I had become used to reading something every day. So that's what you can do. Just start maybe for 30 minutes a day, then extend it to 1 hour. Then before you know it, you'll be doing half a day, concentrating on what you have to do. That is what I mean by take action and not just wait for perfection. We learn on the job. We all know this statement, experience is the best teacher. That is why we go to school and gain all this knowledge. Then when we're out of school, we come and actually practice, because without practicing, you can never know the knowledge that you picked up from there, if it is helping you or not. So friend, falling in love with yourself is just you acknowledging that yes, all these things are there, but I am taking charge. I am taking power back in my hands. I am choosing to surround myself with positive vibes, because we are always thinking about things in a negative way. That is why we are limited. You think about, I need to start this. Oh, but it needs money. And then you're like, but I don't have money. Then you pause there. But yes, you need money. How about you start from where you are while you aspire to get the things that you don't have? Yes, friend? Yeah. So I want to know, what are some of the steps you're taking to fall in love with yourself? Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your cup has to be full. Then it starts running over and pouring into others. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I would love to continue this conversation in the comment section. What are some of the steps you're doing to fall in love with yourself? And if you haven't yet started, what are some of the things you're thinking about by the end of this conversation to do that will show love to you first? Because it is just about that deep compassion for yourself, that acceptance of who you are, and trying to deal with things as they come, one bit at a time. I look forward to having you here again next time. Bye bye.